Okay, here we go. Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Ermin, and I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. I told myself if I put a camera in front of my face and force myself to talk, then eventually, with enough battering from this camera being shoved into my face, that I'll have the goal of improving my speech and articulating myself better. So, although I might not be well articulated now and have good speech now, it will come with time. And the more I sit in front of this camera and speak, I know the more it will improve. So you'll hear me stutter a lot. You'll hear me murmur a lot, mutter a lot. And for me, it sounds like growth. Because I know the more and more I speak, the less I'll do it. And I'll touch on this more in future videos. But for now, enjoy this video. Do you think that we've been enslaved by society's expectations?
I
Do we matter? Are we chained to the system? Would we kill for £1 billion?
I see you want it. One question. Just one question.
With a simple setup of a table and 2 chairs, we asked the public these questions since we thought social interaction set a new low in our generation.
Bit more than a minute, but
Yeah.
We put the people of London in the hot seat and unleashed our inner Sneako.
Would you kill for £1 billion?
Don't know. I might kill for $1 million.
Might kill for a million's less.
This is the 1 Minute Podcast. Enjoy.
No one wants it. 1 minute. It'll take one question. It'll take 1 minute.
What's your name?
Theo.
Hello, Theo. I'm Masood. How's your day?
Good?
It's been good. Where are you off to with your family?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What are you a slave to?
What's the best day out that you've had?
My birthday.
A birthday.
so like I probably like drinking too much, and I try and keep I like actively try and keep a level on it in my life, and I try and give it up for like at least a month a year.
What's your favourite thing to do in the entire world?
I feel like it's probably a genetic thing, but like for me, if I was to have, that's my vice. It's definitely my vice. I love beer. I don't like getting super drunk, but just the flavours, they're so good. You can't do it any other way.
So my favourite thing was going out in towers.
Alton Towers.
So for me, that's like, I keep this in check. I look at it and I'm like, I know if you had your way, I would be much further down a rabbit hole than I would like to be. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'm a slave to.
Okay, Theo. Thank you for your time. You did great. Yeah? Thank you, Theo. Do you wish to chat about it?
Yeah, it's alright.
What are you a slave to?
What am I a slave to? I'm a slave to one thing and one thing only, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Slave to, I think, time. When you hit a certain age in life, I feel like milestones are just ahead of you. So you get married, and then the next things are when you're going to have kids, and the next thing is when you're going to buy a house, and the next thing is like when you're going to get a car, and all of these things.
Do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, 100%. Again, you got to just choose. Are you a slave to your desires, or you're a slave to your creator?
When you get older, everything's about when you're having kids, when you're buying a house, when you're doing this, when you're doing that. It's milestones, and not really enjoying like the moment to moment. Having these milestones isn't a bad thing in that, like, you know, you want to start a family eventually, you want to do things eventually, that's fine. But I think where it gets bad is that when you're fixating on it, when the phrase that you said, when you're a slave to it, where like everything you're doing in your life is to do with these things, and you don't feel like you have any freedom because you're just doing it. Oh, I just need to focus on this, as opposed to just like enjoying life and relaxing. I think you're a slave to something in this world. I think it's impossible to not be a slave to something. Even people that are like feel like they're free, you're always constrained by slave isn't constrained. You're constrained by something.
Gee, no one's got time to spend in this country, bro. It's a Saturday, bro. Guys will not even run into the office.
Something's different about me today. No, you know, like I actually feel different today. Like zero nerves, bro. Zero nerves. I'm not usually like this. So you're a slave to nothing?
Absolutely nothing. I finished work in June and about to turn 55, and pretty much decided that I'm going to retire, buy a camper van, drive around Europe for a few years and see where life takes me.
What do you work as? What are you about to retire from?
I've been a CEO or managing director for the last 30 years of my own businesses in home consumer goods, and for the last 11 years I've been CEO for Asia Pacific for a European wood flooring brand.
Do you matter?
I think so. I think so for my friends, for my family, and I think I make a meaningful contribution to the society. I would hope. I think in the way how I perceive the world, every life matter, and it is not about contribution to other people. It is just about life being intrinsically valuable.
If you're a slave to nothing, are you a slave to your own desires?
That's a challenge that I'm facing actually, because what you learn, having lived in Asia for 30 years, and a lot of those homes or apartments are quite small compared to UK, even though I'm originally from London, you learn to live in small places, and materialistic things just go out the door. And especially COVID, I was pretty much locked out of my home, away from my son for 2.5 years. You learn to realize what's important to you, and to not be a slave to fashion or the prerequisites of what your home should look like, or possessions, car, whatever. So I've done that. I've had the flashy watches, the nice sports cars and all that.
But it wasn't worth it.
It was fun at the time, zero regrets, but it's again, as you get older, you change, and your requirements and desires are very different to when you're a 20-year-old, I guess, like yourself, or 30, 40, or now, in 50s. So.
Yeah.
I've got you now, haven't I?
Do you think that we've been enslaved by society's expectations?
I think society's expectations make certain obligations towards us.
Yeah, I think probably from an early age. It's probably instilled in us in terms of career paths and things, and then what we end up pursuing, so the university route and then post that as well.
We are being limited by them, but I think it is to some extent a personal decision. To what extent do we want to obey by the rules of the society? To what extent do you want to conform and accept following, let's say, the mainstream approach to life?
You would say it's more down to personal choice.
Whether it's more towards the personal choice or less, in my opinion, I would say in a free society like in the UK and in Europe, it is predominantly personal choice.
What's the cause from early age, and that we've been instilled in our minds that we can't get X career or can't get to X path?
I think it's probably just part of society, and I think if you look at societies around the world as well, you've got variation there as well. I think it's parents, teachers, I think it's society combined together really. I think there are many different factors and players that are ultimately adding up. I would say teachers have a big role to play in changing the paths that we think are possible.
Would you kill for £1 billion?
No.
Спасибо.
All right.
Давай.
Спасибо.
If everyone just followed what they wanted, would the world be a good place?
Honestly, I don't think so, because there are a lot of people who are greedy and want power, and that doesn't suit a good world, a healthy, a sustainable world. So my answer would be no. It's hard to find the perfect balance.
So then, what is a good system?
That's something I find myself thinking about every day, because having lived out of the country for 30 years, looking at the UK politics, taxation, it is a minefield. And I mean, if I was perhaps 10 or 20 years younger, I would get into politics, because I've run businesses of varied sizes. And in that you learn it's not just about making a profit, it's about educating and empowering the people that come on the journey with you. And I think today's politicians across the world are lost. They're following a power trip and they haven't got a grasp on reality. And I don't vote either way. But what's happening now, I just think, is an absolute disaster for the UK economy, people in general, and it's a disaster, unfortunately.
Is it important that young people vote?
I think so. I never voted because I left when I was 26, moved to Asia. I think so because there's got to be a new youth coming into politics, coming into having a voice for the country as a whole. I have a 17-year-old son, love him, proud of him, but I feel sorry for his generation because it's going to be extremely difficult. And there is no one answer. Everything and life is a compromise. Everything is, give and take. But what's happening in the world today, and particularly in this country, I sit back and I think, oh my God. So I feel sorry for the younger generation, but I think it should give them some motivation in some ways to get into politics, to get into things that they can help society, help the country, help people, whatever. My parents brought me up with quite strict but fair rules of how to be in life with people, with belongings, and it generationally, I think it's changed and it's gone out the window. Eroded, yeah, a little bit like this river. One day many years ago, I think you used to be able to swim across the Thames. I had a very good education. My parents really tried their very best, but I know I was dyslexic, so it just wasn't for me. So I started work at 15, and I think there is so many opportunities for so many people, but respect is just gone, and I keep on harping on about it.
Yeah.
But it's I feel sad coming back here. I love it. I'm very patriotic. I will wave the flag, but I just think in many countries, in many cities, I just think it's sad. So I've walked from North Greenwich, so I've actually done 15 kilometres, going for a late lunch, and it makes you appreciate what's great about this country when you take a nice walk, you meet people like yourselves, or you're just looking and people watching.
Yeah.
There are still some very good people around in the world, in this city, but a lot of it. So anyway, good luck with your podcast.
Anyway, thank you, Ryan.
Good luck with your future endeavours and life.